Hi, welcome to Tales of Dread. I'm going to tell you about some werewolf encounters. Lock your doors. Also, your windows and blinds are shut, so it can't find you by smell. This happened in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, in 1999, when I was a freshman in high school. I rented a townhouse in an area next to a small neighborhood called Cabana Colony. My best friend Wayne lived there, and we always had sleepovers and explored the deep woods that surrounded the back half of his neighborhood. No one knows how far down it went, but we thought it was great. Nothing ever did happen. There were just rumors that a dog-like animal lived in the woods. But we thought that their parents were just trying to keep us from getting lost. We paid it, then. No problem, we've been in there before and all we found were people's old paintball sets. We've even seen a homeless person's tent with a bunch of pornographic magazines inside. We thought it was hilarious, but we were too scared to go inside the tent. During the summer of 1999, I slept at Wayne's house one night. That day was hot and sticky. Wayne and I were back in the woods again, looking for something fun to do with our flashlights and pocket knives. Maybe we could find a cool fort, a tree house, or something else cool that would be ours and that we wouldn't have to share with anyone else that night. We went deeper than we ever had before. The time was Prime Minister, it was nighttime. We got a little lost, okay, we got really lost, but we didn't panic because we thought we could try to go backwards to get back to the streets. We could hear branches breaking all around us. We couldn't figure out which way it came from. We heard it then? The scream. It was noisy. I know for sure that whatever it wasn't far away and could have smelled us. We kept walking, but slowed down so as not to draw more unwanted attention to ourselves. Then we saw the dead body. A dead body was lying in the dirt about 20 feet in front of us. It was Gary, a mean guy in the neighborhood who had dropped out of high school. The big guy was always picking on the little kids. There was blood everywhere. His chest was torn open, leaving a large hole. His heart was no longer inside of him. Wayne leaned over and threw up, and I grabbed a nearby tree to keep from passing out while I tried to catch my breath. "Oh my God, dude, Gary's dead," I said. Then I saw the eyes and the brush a little ways ahead of us, just staring at us. Its eyes shine like amber and watch us like a snake watches its prey. We've been scared, and we've seen a wolf head with dark black hair and pointy ears just staring at us like it's guarding its food or something. I wasn't thinking straight, so I just yelled to Wayne, "Run!" And we turned around and ran as fast as we could back the way we came. I don't think we had ever run that fast before. We got back to the street where we left our bikes, which was lucky. The dog that turned into a werewolf was real, no matter what you want to call it. It didn't follow us or try to catch us. God bless you, I really think it was just guarding its food, because if it hadn't been, it would have attacked us or followed us. We never went back into those woods again, so that's not a surprise. My name is George, and I'm 10 years old. My friends Zach and Robert and I are all in the same grade, and we all go to the same school in Alpine, California. We were having a sleepover at my house, which had a big backyard that went into the woods and an above-ground pool. Small black square, small black square, small black square, small black square. We were going to have pizza and soda, watch a movie, or even just play Resident Evil on my PlayStation that night. In the words of Ernest P. Worrell in the Halloween movie Ernest, "Scared Stupid," we were in the forest line looking for the high ground, which meant the perfect tree house for our future fort. We thought we had found the perfect tree to start building our new forts as the sun was going down. We were very happy because we didn't have to climb too high to bring the wood, boards, nails, and other things. We were scared out of our minds by a growl. As we turned to see where it came from, we saw a creature that looked like a wolf running on its back, hunched over like a person, across the grass. It grabbed a small animal and ran into the bushes. Everything moved so quickly. We didn't even know what kind of animal was needed. I don't know if it was a baby deer or a coyote. We didn't know. We were too shocked to care much at the time, so we all huddled together and did nothing while we waited. The forest was dead quiet. We have to go back to our house. I spoke quietly to the others. Robert didn't say anything in response to Zach's nod. He was in shock, which was completely normal. We walked slowly through the woods toward my house. As we did, we heard howls from whatever animal the wolf creature had caught, and it sounded like it was in a lot of pain. I felt bad for the animal because I thought it was being torn apart or eaten alive. We finally got back home, locked the doors behind us, and ran inside to tell my mom what had happened. She didn't believe a word we said, so she laughed it off as a joke and said, "That's what you get for being in the woods after dark." Wow. Thank you, Mom. I'm Karina, and I live in a small town in the country called Halal. A pond in the Mexican state of Puebla. Skinwalkers and witches who use black magic are said to be able to change into wolves. This area has a lot of bad things, but I haven't seen any proof that any of these stories are true. I'm telling this story in case I go missing, which means I'm already dead. My friends and I were walking from town back to our house. Out here, there's only a dirt road that cars use because there's no pavement or sidewalks. To say the least, it's pretty wild. Small black square, 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 small black square. Walking home takes more than 2 hours, so it was already dark. When we were about 30 meters away, we saw this black monster that looked like a werewolf in the woods to our left. Small black square, small black square, small black square. It was howling and running through the woods, destroying everything it came across on its way to us. We all screamed, and I dropped the sweater I was holding because it was so humid that night, so we all ran back to town. It would have been stupid for them to split up in the woods. That's just suicide. I thought, lucky for us, a farmer's truck was coming toward us, and we jumped into the bed of his truck and told him to step on it. It was a big deal. And we said, "There's a wolf coming." If he hadn't done what we told him, the werewolf would have caught up to his truck and killed all of us. We got back to town later, and I stayed at my aunt's house, where she ran a taxi business in the village's tourist area. I'm writing this in the room she doesn't use. Now that I think about it, I didn't pick up my sweater after the meeting. As the creature squeaks into the window frame in my room, it has a black claw that reaches the edge of the window and bright red eyes that look right at me. I am a 37-year-old white man who lives in the Boise-Nampa Meridian area of southern Idaho. We just moved here from California because it's too expensive to live there, it's too crowded, and their laws are stupid. We had just bought a house in Nampa, and after moving to northern Idaho, we went on our first camping trip in the mountains. We knew there were bears and coyotes in the area, but we didn't pay attention. We love and care about nature, so don't worry about us. When we got to the Beauty Creek campground, we set up our tents. We chose a spot farther away from the other campers because we like our own space. We had just cooked dinner on the grill, had some s'mores, and drank a few beers. Later, I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't want to walk downhill to the pit toilet, which smelled like poop. I took a chance and went into the woods. I did take a flashlight with me, but I went alone, And no one knew where I went to pee because it was 2 in the morning and everyone else was asleep. I was doing my thing against a big tree when I heard a howl in the distance. I've heard coyotes before, but this one was different. This one sounded different. Also, it didn't sound like it was too far away, which sent chills down my spine. I then saw the beast's head about 25 feet to my right. It was snarling and drooling, and its mouth was full of sharp teeth. This thing was tall, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall. It looked like a man standing on its back legs. But it wasn't a person. This scared me to death, so I closed my zipper and ran back to camp, calling out for my wife. She rubbed her eyes as she came out of the tent. I cried, "Wolf, get the keys and go to the truck." Now, she puts the phone in flight mode, grabs the keys, and runs after me to my truck. We run as fast as we can until we reach the highway. We never went back to get our stuff. I know I cried wolf, but I know in my heart that it wasn't a wolf. We never went back there again to camp.